Welcome to Let's Talk Nourishment, where we go beyond food and into the habits that truly nourish. I'm Abigail Parker, nutritional therapy practitioner, here to help you simplify wellness. I used to think that I was a perfectionist, but that has really shifted over the last weekend. So, if you have ever renovated a house or built a house or even just redecorated, you know it's not as simple as you think it's going to be. We are over a month into redoing our new house, and I feel like we've been doing a lot more destroying things than actually renovating and putting it back together. But this last weekend, we finally had this great progress of I could see something actually coming together, and we were putting our new ceiling up in our back entryway. We had some tiles there that had some water damage from when the roof was leaking, and we decided the best option was going to be to just put something else up. And so I picked out a new tin tile that is really pretty. It looks very vintage, which is what I really like. And it seemed like it was going to be great. Zach was like, "Oh, yeah, I can do that." And it's always easier than you think it's going to be. So, of course, as we started working on it, we quickly figured out that the room is not perfectly square and in a line. So, having to cut these different lines was proving to be a challenge. And we can tell that the room is not going to line up as we would like. The cuts are not going well. So Zach and his dad, who were the main ones putting everything up, were starting to feel really defeated about it. And I'm like, just put it up. I don't care. It's going to be fine. It's still what I want. I like the tile. It's not going to be perfect because we know the room isn't perfect. We didn't build the room for the tile. We're modifying. It's okay. And they just kept being so down, like, oh, this isn't working, and spending so much time trying to figure out what the best way was going to be to do it. And how much time did they waste trying to figure out how to make it perfect instead of just doing it basically like I had wanted it done? So that's what ended up happening was I said, it's fine how you're doing it. Just put it up. And it's not completely finished yet, but I'm loving how it is coming together because while it's not perfect, whatever that may mean in this instance, it's what I want. And this is something that comes up all the time is this idea of perfectionism. As I said, I thought that I was kind of a perfectionist, but this experience with my ceiling really humbled me to realize I am not the perfectionist that I feel like I used to be. I am way more relaxed and just making it work. That is what you need to do when it comes to eating as well, that you make it work for you. So often, though, we get caught up in this idea of, I need to be perfect. My food needs to work for me, when that's not the case. Because when you're trying to fit this ideal way of eating, it's not always what you want. And so you don't stick with it. So there are three common mistakes that keep women stuck in an all or nothing cycle of eating that I'm going to walk you through, and we're going to talk about what you can do instead. So, first thing is really getting down to that idea of perfectionism with starting over every Monday. I want to be like, raise your hand if you're the woman who feels like you're constantly waiting for the right Monday to start over. If only I could see you raise your hand. But maybe that is resonating for you, where you have been known to say, on Monday, I'm going to start again. And sometimes Monday does come pretty quickly, and other times it's amazing how Monday just feels so far away. We keep waiting for it to be the right Monday. And before you know it, you're not getting anywhere. You're just staying right where you are, and you're unhappy because it's, again, going back to that idea of perfectionism where you're thinking, Well, in order for me to start on Monday, I need to be all in. I need to be perfect. And if you are not ready for that, if that's not where your mindset actually is, then you're never going to start. It is overwhelming to try to do that. Instead, you get to decide, I'm ready right now to make this change. I'm ready right now to stop eating dessert every single night after dinner. I want to limit myself to the weekends only. I'm ready right now to eat more protein because I know that it's something that's going to help me to have more energy and fewer cravings. Pick something that you're ready for that is going to make a difference, as opposed to trying to do all of the things at once, starting them on Monday. So, whenever you are transitioning away from this Monday mindset, I like to talk to my clients about having this idea of a daily anchor. So, that one thing that makes you feel really good when you do it. Deciding, something that I haven't done in a long time that I always enjoyed was reading before bed. When I got off my phone and I read before bed, it seemed like I fell asleep quicker. It helped to calm me. That one thing that you really enjoy can be the way to start making the change, becoming the person that you're wanting to be, as opposed to trying to do all of the things on Monday and getting nowhere. Okay, so mistake number 2 that is really common to make when it comes to the all or nothing cycle is overcorrecting after a bad day. Again, I want to be like, raise your hand if you ever had a day where you ate out all 3 meals and you felt terrible at the end of it. And so then the next day you were like, I'm skipping breakfast because I ate so bad yesterday. Or maybe you had dessert multiple times yesterday. And so now today you're like, nope, I can't eat any of that. I have to be good. It's very easy whenever you feel like you had a quote unquote bad day of eating to then feel like you have to do better, but you're punishing yourself by doing that. Every day is a new start. It's not that the food you ate yesterday is going to carry over into today. Yes, it may be that if you didn't eat great yesterday, you might still not like the way you feel today. If you go back to last week's episode, I talked about how when you are tracking your food, the best way to actually track it is how your food is making you feel. So if you notice that, hey, I ate a lot of foods that I didn't like how it made me feel at the end of the day, then that's one way to say, hey, I want to do better. But to say, I ate too many bad foods and now I'm going to limit myself, restrict myself from eating those for today, for the next week, makes it so that now all of a sudden when you do get to have it again, you're binging. You've missed out on that thing and you're like, oh, I'm so happy to be eating this again. You lose all sense of self-control. And when you're stuck in this mindset too of, I had a really bad day yesterday, you're constantly beating yourself up. So your motivation is really struggling. You feel like you're constantly failing every time you're paying attention to those bad days. So again, paying attention to the foods, how they're making you feel, and choosing to eat more of the foods that make you feel good. And when you notice you're eating a food that doesn't make you feel as good, then maybe it's something that you don't want to eat all the time. Instead of overcorrecting and cutting foods out or restricting yourself, you get to course correct with compassion and not punishing yourself. You get to decide what foods you want to eat, what foods are worth eating. And it makes it so then there's no more good and bad days. There's no more good and bad foods. There's only the foods that you want to eat and the choices that you're making right now. And the good news is, whenever you stop thinking about those bad days and eating becomes just eating, suddenly life is pretty good. And that leads us to mistake number 3, which is chasing motivation. Now, this can really be something that leaves you stuck where you are, because when you're chasing motivation, it's not always up to you if you're going to be motivated. That might be something that you just keep waiting. It's like that Monday where you're just waiting for the right motivation. You're waiting for the right Monday, but it doesn't always come. And then you keep feeling bad about yourself, like, I wish I could do better. I want to eat better. I just don't know where to start. I don't know why I can't gain control. I wish I had more willpower. Do those sentences sound familiar? Because when you're waiting for motivation to kick in, it can be hard trying to even figure out where to start. Again, you feel like you failed whenever you're just not getting anywhere. Like, you're trying, but you don't know what to do. You will not always be motivated. Heck, I'm not always motivated. There's just no such thing as being motivated all of the time. You just can't be, especially as a woman who is going through various cycles throughout the month. Your hormones are fluctuating, your motivation is going to fluctuate. I just went through luteal phase. And if you don't know, that is a little over halfway through your cycle after you ovulate. If you've ever had during the month where all of a sudden your motivation is sky high, you feel like you can do all of the things, you clean your entire house, you get groceries, you tackle that project that you've been putting off for weeks, that's very likely when luteal phase is happening. You feel great. And then what happens after luteal phase is you start to near menstruation, and all of a sudden your motivation drops and you're like, I'm a couch potato. And that is normal for motivation to fluctuate. But if you're constantly feeling like you have to have all the motivation, you have to have it all together, that's where you're going to continue to feel like you're failing yourself, because it's just not always possible. And that's okay, because we're human and that's how it works. Is every day is going to look different. Back to, again, that idea, there's no such thing as perfect. You get to decide what is perfect for you. And so instead of chasing motivation, what I help my clients with is building habits, building a rhythm that doesn't rely on willpower. It just becomes something that you do. It's kind of who you are, and it's something you enjoy. So you get to decide what that thing is going to be, what your daily routine is like. I'm sure right now you have somewhat of a daily routine where as soon as you are waking up in the morning until you go to bed at night, there are things that you're doing each and every day. Maybe right now that looks like hitting the snooze multiple times. Maybe you're somebody who wakes up and you like to take a walk. Maybe you feel like you have no routine, but there are those things that make you you. It's part of your day. And I hope that there are things that make you you beyond just, I get up and I go to work. You know, even brushing your teeth. Well, that's a daily habit that you do. So when you're trying to become a better version of yourself, you're trying to eat better, you're trying to live a healthier life, often it's very easy to get caught up in the motivation to make all of these changes. But really what it comes down to is the habits that you're doing each and every day. It's such simple things. You don't have to take on the world in order to make healthy changes. It can be so simple as not hitting that snooze alarm every morning and getting out of bed. But when you're struggling with energy and you're struggling with motivation, it can feel really hard to do that. So there are a couple of options then you have. You can force yourself. We force ourselves to do things we don't want to do all the time, right? So what if you forced yourself to do something that you want to do? It sounds kind of contradictory whenever you're like, I'm forcing myself. That's not a good thing. But if it's something that you want to do, sometimes you just have to force yourself to do it in order to make it happen. Because otherwise, you're going to just continue to feel stuck and wish that you would do it. But the second option you have is getting help. Because that's what I love to do is I love to help you become the person that you want to be and make those habits that you've been longing for and just not knowing where to start or how to even stay consistent with them. These three mistakes, starting over every Monday, overcorrecting after a bad day, and chasing motivation, come from things that I have seen and things that I've helped to correct to make it so that it's no longer something that you're going through a cycle with. So when it comes to making these mistakes and feeling stuck where you are, it's not about you just need to do better. It really comes down to finding a new approach because if you're stuck in the cycle, then clearly the cycle is not working. We have to break it and we have to build a new one. So in Confident Eating Academy, that's what I do is I give you a clear, simple path forward so you feel good about eating in the right way for you, listening to your body and not feeling so guilty over food anymore. And the really cool thing is that whenever you are starting to feel more confident in how you're eating, this daily choice that you're making, because whether you realize it or not, you are making choices daily about what you're eating, life becomes easier. If you can imagine right now, if food feels hard, that is at least 3 times a day, I hope, that you are eating and you're then feeling like food is hard. You're questioning what you're eating or saying to yourself, should I be eating this? Or, oh, I should be eating better. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can have this confident way of eating where eating is just eating. It's another thing that you do every day. So if you are tired of being stuck in the cycle and feeling like eating and just living the life that you want is complicated, Confident Eating Academy is opening for enrollment again October 1st. So maybe if you're listening to this the day of, or the day this podcast is coming out, it's tomorrow that Confident Eating Academy opens, or maybe you're listening and enrollment is open right now. Enrollment is going to be open October 1st through October 7th. So you have a week here to be listening and get in on this. If I've been speaking today and you've been nodding along like, you know what? I am ready for life to be easy. Because that's what I want to do for you is make your life easier. So you stop spinning your wheels and become the person that you want to be. So in order to get in on Confident Eating Academy, I will have the link in the description, but you can visit nourishedrevival.com/services. That gives you all of the details you need to know. Or if you are ready to take a leap or you are really wanting to talk one-on-one, reach out to me. Send me an email, abigail@nourishedrevival.com. Because while, I'm talking to you and it's like I'm talking to you, but we're not really talking, I love to actually have conversations. So That again, to learn more about Confident Eating Academy and save your seat before it fills up is nourishedrevival.com/services, or reach out to me, Abigail at nourishedrevival.com. And let's make it so that you are no longer making these three mistakes and spinning your wheels. And as we're getting into this holiday season, which can be especially overwhelming, you're feeling confident and so full of life. Life is just easy.